Hey, this is Alexi Neocleous. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You go to a seminar and you see a whole range of speakers sharing a whole bunch of great ideas, and you walk out and you go, you know what, I'm going to implement all these things. And one idea has to do with SEO, another one has to do with social media, say Twitter. Then you get another idea, you've got to do something with your email, and then you see someone like me tell you that video sales is the greatest way to monetize online. And so you try to execute all these things, but you don't really get very far. So you get confused, you get overwhelmed, you get stressed. All these ideas firing off at you, yet you don't know which ones to really implement one at a time. So let me tell you about my client, Bob. Now, the other day I spoke about Bob in an email about some of the wonderful things that he's doing, and hopefully with my support, we're going to do even bigger great things. Here's what's been happening lately since we started working together. Already we're noticing a good increase in the leads that are coming through to his sales team. It's still very, very early days, but we're doing some great things. Now, what's really important about Bob is we're chaining our wins together. We're chaining our wins together. Now, what the heck does that mean? Well, everything that we're doing together form part of one conversion funnel. So instead of doing something like SEO and then we go and play with his emails and then we go and fuss about with a banner and then we do all sorts of unrelated things, what we're doing with Bob is we're working on increasing his opt-ins to his landing page, improving the email sequence that's linked to that landing page, and then improving his follow-up process into his sales team so they're speaking to better quality leads. Why is this so important? Well, when you optimize and improve a chain of events, it leads to geometric growth. Let me throw some numbers at you. Let's say you've got three parts of a funnel. Let's say a landing page, and let's say we've got our sales page, and let's say we've got the checkout page, three parts. And let's say you get someone like me to come along and help you improve that funnel. And we improve the first part by 10%, and the second part by 10%, and the third part by 10%. Now, how much has the big business grown by? Well, you may not realize the business, or at least that funnel, has grown by 33%. That's because we've had compound growth take place. Let's look at another scenario. Instead of having 3 steps in a funnel, you get someone like me to play with your banner advertisement at step 1, then the landing page, that's step 2, then the video sales letter, that's step 3, then the email sequence that your prospects get over time, that's step 4, then the checkout page, that's step 5. We improve each one of those by 10%. It's something like 63, 64% improvement now. It's not 10% plus 10% plus 10%. It's 10% times 10% times 10% times 10% and so on. This is geometric growth. Now look at this again. If we were to improve each segment of that funnel, each of those 5 parts by 20%, so 20% on the banner, 20% on the landing page and so on, where does that lead to after all is said and done? Well, the net result is an increase of about 140%. 140%. So to answer your question that may be in your mind, what do you improve and what do you work on? The answer is you work on optimizing funnels. You start with your most successful funnel right now, the one that you get the most traction with, and you ideally get someone like me, or if you're really skilled, you do it yourself, and that's fine, to optimize each section by just 10 or 15 or 20%. You chain those little wins together, and before you know it, you've doubled and tripled your sales. This is why it's so important to get coaching. Now, the other day I announced that I'm looking for just 2 more one-on-one clients to work in this way. Exactly what I'm doing with Bob. We're meeting twice a month and we're working on improving his funnels, working on improving his wins in one consecutive chain. Now, on your own, you can do it, no doubt. Problem is, like I said in my email the other day, it's really easy to get scatomated, to get so close to what you're doing that you don't see the detail. You miss the obvious wins. So someone like me, an external expert, so to speak, can give you that external perspective and really point you towards the obvious stuff that you should know on your own, but you never do or rarely do because you're so close to it. So when it comes to the one-on-one coaching and the consulting, let me explain to you how it works. It's just 2 meetings a month of between 60 to 90 minutes, and they're going to be purely focused on improving what's already working and chaining together wins. The investment is only $2,000 a month. It's probably less than a part-time employee. There's a minimum 3-month lock-in period. And my goal, my very sincere goal, is to pay for myself within a few sessions. To pay for myself for 12 months, in fact, within a few sessions. So that's why if you're interested or you're thinking about maybe having a chat to me about it, your business has to be of a certain size. I mean, it can't be really small. Maybe doing $500,000 in revenue as sort of a starting point. Ideally, you're doing 7 figures in revenue and you're doing some cool things online and offline, then someone like myself can really hit it out of the park for you. So if you want to have a chat, it's really easy. Just email Sophie at sophyM@marketingbump.com. That's SOPHY, then the letter M for Mary, at marketingbump.com. Thanks a lot. This is Alexi Neocleous.